Good. Okay, I'll call to order the regular meeting of Monday, February 14th. I ask that all who have not signed in, please do so. Please turn off all cell phones and other electronic devices, and please conduct any private conversation in the hallway or outside. Emergency exits can be found to your right and to your left. If you please join the town board in a salute to the flag, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible. Well, thank you for coming out on this balmy evening. First order of business declares Councilman Condon necessarily absent this evening. And town board members, approval of meeting minutes. You have the January 24th regular town board meeting, as well as the February 8th special town board meeting for your consideration. And would you?
So moved.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Supervisor, I'll abstain from that just because I was not present for that meeting.
Very good. And we'll ask our town clerk to please introduce the payment of bills for manifest number 1. Ask IT to please put that up on the screen.
Manifest number 3 for 2022 in the amount of $5,912,912.58.84 has been reviewed by the Victor Town Board with the following accounts charged. General Townwide, General Outside Village, Parkland Trust Fund, Highway Townwide, Sanitary Conveyance Capital Improvement Project, the lighting districts of Fishers, Brookwood Meadows, High Point, Cobblestone, Coil Ridge, Rolling Meadows, Stoneley, and Legacy at the Fairways, S&S Consolidated Sewer Fund, and Trust and Agency.
Thank you, Karen. Appreciate it. So why don't we go through why it's almost $6 million. We'll start with the American Rock, first payment to American Rock Salt for road salt. Next is payment to B&M International for rent for the courts. Payment to Bayer Landscape for the final plans for the dog park. Payment to Fishers Fire District for the 2022 tax levy. Payment to Guardian Insurance for the dental insurance for our town employees for January and February. Payment to Harris Beach for January legal fees. There are chargebacks of $22,351.50 included there. Next is a payment to Lobello Associates, as well as chargeback to developers included in that as well. Next is payment to MVP for the January and February health care for employees and retirees. Payment to NOCO Energy diesel fuel purchases. Payment to Ontario County for Sheriff's Patrol and Court Security from the months of October 2021 to December 2021. And payment to Precision Trenchless for LLC for Fieldcrest Lane storm line repairs. Payment to RG&E January Electric. Payment to the Victor Fire District 2022 tax levy. And the final payment is to Victor Sewer District for 2021 delinquent taxes. These will be re-levied. And again, the above mentioned expenditures equals $5,832,604.81. Total town expenditures minus these previous mentioned expenditures equals $79,454.03. Town board members, any question on this abstract of claims as introduced by the town clerk? Hearing none, entertain a motion to approve the payments thereof.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have no privilege of the floor requested this evening. Public comments and concerns, opportunities for members of the public to address the town board.
Carol Fisher, 632 Wangum Road, also called County Road 42. Of course, I'm here to talk about pickleball. First, we are very pleased with the removal of the banner. This affirms that our town parks are for all, not just one organization, so thank you. Next, at the last town board meeting, I played an audio clip of the sound of pickleball. As you heard, it's loud and high-pitched and constant. But I also hope you heard that a lot of people were having a really good time, and they should be able to play this game. We've been through the fact that the game should not be near homes, something that our neighbors and the pickleball establishment itself has stated. One group's fun should not be another group's frustration and irritation, and therein lies the problem. A sport that is growing in a location that is not suitable. As for the growing part, the Parks and Rec brochure states that pickleball is now the fastest growing sport in America. And I checked that out, and it's true. So with spring, we have to assume there will be a greater demand. The people who've been playing at Pinnacle, they're going to be back. And there will be a new wave of snowbirds who have learned this game down in the south, and they're going to want to continue to play. There are people here who have been taking lessons at Parks and Rec. They're going to want to play. And lastly, I've even heard that they're teaching pickleball at the high school in the PE classes, and that's another group. So these are all examples of the increased interest in this game. So where will these people play? Due to forward thinking on the part of Victor, we have other parks, Municipal, Lehigh Crossing, Dreyer, and Paperone, all away from homes, all better suited. The town should allocate more money to Parks and Rec to establish courts in those parks, because that's what a town should do, provide recreation for their citizens. On a positive note, another concern for our neighbors has been the fact that this one activity has replaced a variety of activities, like walking dogs and families walking and lunches and kids playing and exploring in the woods. During the height of pickleball, the above-mentioned activities disappeared. So it has been encouraging that with the colder temperatures and snow, people are back. Parking is available. People from the businesses are back eating their lunches, yes, in their cars. But that was not possible when pickleball was running 13 hours a day. There was no parking spots. Adults, kids, and dogs are also back now. The question is, with spring and the return of pickleball, will this continue? I have one final point that I want to tell you that after I wrote this, 2 days ago, so this would be on Saturday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 32 degrees, 2 people were over there playing pickleball. They had to climb over a snowbank and shovel the courts to do this. That's the kind of interest I'm talking about. So I think you need to plan for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Opportunity for any other members of the public.
Good evening. This is like a repeat of the last meeting. Me following Carol. A lot of my points are similar to hers. I'm just going to read my statement or my comments. My name is Ken Warner. I live at 7861 Fowler Street in the hamlet of Fishers. I'm here again to comment about the noisy game of pickleball being played at Fishers tennis courts. I understand the Victor Parks Department received a quote to add sound-reducing curtains for 2 side fences in the back fence of the court area. In my 17-plus years as an environmental health and safety manager, I was involved in sound mitigation projects. I can tell you with experience, there is a great deal more to reducing noise than just hanging sound curtains on 3 sides of the noise source. The curtains may result in some sound reduction. This will primarily benefit people on or directly outside the courts. You only need to take a brief look at the topography of that area to realize the curtain's overall effect will be minimal. The solid surface of the courts, the location and the height of gameplay within the courts in relation to the curtains, the hilly backdrop, the parking lot, the paved road out front, and the duration of the noise must all be considered. Even with the proposed sound curtains, the high-pitched pickleball puck noise and the loud vocal noises from the players would continue reflecting through our residential area. After hearing our concerns at the past meetings, it's disappointing that the Parks Department continues its effort to facilitate the playing of this game that creates excessive noise disturbance for nearby residents and other park users. Sound curtains, a reservation process, and a fee schedule will not make the game of pickleball any more tolerable for those of us living near the courts. I've spent a great deal of time at the fields at Dry Road Park, even on the busiest days, with every field filled with kids playing lacrosse or soccer. The noise generated does not even compare to the volume or the quantity of noise created by pickleball. Do I want to get into this last part? I'm just going to skip this last part. The noisy game of pickleball does not belong in a residential area. The noisy game of pickleball does not belong in Fishers Park. So thank you. Again, appreciate it.
Thank you for your comments.
My name is Mac Warner. I live at 600 Sour Farms, Fishers, New York. You may wonder why I'm here, because at Sour Farms, Fishers, New York, we can't hear the pickleball court, which makes it kind of interesting. However, my son that you just heard lives on Fowler Street, and for years we have visited him at his house, at his pool in the backyard, at his fenced-in, screened-in porch on the back of the house, and enjoyed the peace and quiet of the Fishers hamlet. Now we go over, and you heard the tape played at the last meeting. That's basically what I hear in his backyard when I go over to visit. In the pool, in the screened-in porch on the back, it is loud. His house is 2/10 of a mile from the pickleball court. I feel sorry for those that live closer, but I also worry about the noise that's occurring at my son's house. I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg, but the hamlet of Fishers was 100-plus years of quiet solitude, nice neighborhood. It no longer is. I can't understand who permitted this atrocity to occur. There are a lot of ordinance in the town of Victor, the noise ordinance being one of those. Somebody wisely instituted many years ago because noise can be a very bad pollutant. Pickleball is clearly in violation of the ordinance against excessive noise. There's no question around that issue. Something that was probably inadvertent by those that invented this game and put it in the backyard of Fishers, and that is home values. Those that live within 2/10, in the case of my son, closer, even a little further away, are inundated with that noise from dawn to dusk. Bong, bong, bong. Yay, yelling. You heard it on the tape last week. So now somebody in that range, my son's house, for example, is put up for sale. A wise buyer is going to come, survey the property, walk around, and they're going to listen to pickleball, the way I hear it every time I go over there to visit now. They're going to listen to the sound of pickleball, bong, 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 and the yelling, which is excessive. The value of his house, when somebody comes to look at it to buy it, is going to go through the tubes. Whoever made the decision to put pickleball there has taken the value of his house and thousands of dollars less than it was before the pickleball courts were installed. And that's going to be true of any house in the area. Anybody looking at a house is going to hear a pickleball bong and yelling and screaming from dawn to dusk. There isn't a time they can go look at a house in that area and not hear the noise and not say, we're not moving there. My kids, I put to bed at night. They're not going to be able to sleep because of the yelling. My kids, I want to sleep in the morning because they have no school. They can't sleep in because of the noise. So whoever had the bright idea to put pickleball there has significantly reduced the value of those homes, and quite frankly, ought to be responsible for making up the price difference in what they can sell it for now and what they could sell it for before pickleball. All of you live in the town of Victor. By definition, you're on the board. If there's a spare open lot in your neighborhood and someone says, let's put in a pickleball court, against the advice of the Pickleball Association, because they know it's disturbing, they put that pickleball court in your neighborhood. And now you've got exactly the same noise that was played by the resident last session here. Bong, 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 yelling, screaming. How would you feel as a resident if they moved into your neighborhood on a lot near you? You'd say, we've got a town ordinance against that noise. Stop it. We do have a town ordinance against that noise in Fishers. Stop it. I'd like to formally request that the board request the, I'm searching for the words, my Parkinson doesn't always work. The ordinance be enforced against noise, and that go in the meeting notes, that request has been formally made, and that the enforcement officer be required to enforce the code in the town of Fishers, and failing to do so, I don't know what the recourse is other than lawsuit for failing to follow your own code, but I guess time will tell. Thank you.
Any other members of the public? Moving to reports of town officials, in your packet, you have a grant letter from the State of New York Unified Court System regarding a successful grant application that Terry Bolt was able to secure for $22,049.30. And historically, I can tell you this is something that Terry's been very successful on behalf of the town for many, many years. In your packet is a comes from the Finance Department, facility use fees for 2022. This is the cost per hour of 3 different town rectangular fields, the box rink, and the tennis pickleball courts. Cost per hour for resident use, and then cost per hour for non-resident use. So, just for both finance and for Parks and Rec and myself, just want to know if you feel the price point is something that you're in agreement with or have any thoughts on.
Is that the same price for the rectangular field and box rink that it was last year? What adjustment needed, you don't feel? And I'm fine with it.
Okay. In addition, Fishers Fire District, there's a org chart, report from your town historian, report from our Parks and Rec Director. Brian, job well done, meeting with the school officials, and certainly significant savings regarding the use of school facilities for a summer rec program. Aquatics, that's still in the air. Okay. And I had submitted a report as well with a few items. And then the final item is the Victor Fire District report. I do have a few other things I wanted to mention to you. I handed out before the meeting the monthly Victor Farmington Ambulance Report. Mercy Flight thank you letter from the leadership there. Sanitary sewer pump station project. So a few weeks ago, we opened the bids for Pump Station 11. Pump Station 11 is part of the sewer consent order that we have with the DEC as well as the town of Farmington. And the bids actually came in about 85% higher than what we had projected. So we are taking a look at, we also, in addition, we have Pump Station 7 over on East Victor Road, which, based on growth in that area, we need to do something with that. So what we're looking at is, we've had a couple of meetings, and we're looking at bundling Pump Station 11, Pump Station 7, and adding Pump Station 5 to take a look and see what our what that does for the price. Pump Station 5 is one that we're going to do in a few years. Now, how are we going to fund this? We are looking at possibly bonding this, unfortunately, but it really taking advantage of our the rate that the town has, as well as currently interest rates that are favorable. So kind of it. I know, Steve, you're here. Anything you want to add to that? I know your team's looking at, we have figures, Pump Stations 11, again, about 80%, 85% higher than projected, and Pump Station 7, that's in that same neighborhood. Pump Station 5, we anticipate will be the same. We have ordered some generators as well, backup generators, and again, unfortunately, with the demand, I think they're a year out before we would receive them. So,
Yeah, that's all true, Jack. I'm certainly happy to answer any questions. I didn't have any remarks prepared, but just commenting off Jack's comments, the Pump Station 11 did come in 85% higher than the money we had budgeted for it, and that was set up a few years ago, and times have certainly changed in terms of pricing, especially these days. We did take a look at the bid. We think it's not an outrageous bid, given the current climate. We had a few bids that we were able to compare them to, and unfortunately, that's sort of where the cost is. We do think there's likely some savings that can be had as we bundle 3 pump stations together. You've got mobilization, you've got bonding, you've got just the simple coordination of having multiple things to work on at the same time. So we do think there'll be some cost savings associated with that, but that's where we are. As Jack said, the emergency generators are kind of outrageous. They're a year out, 50 weeks is what we're quoted by the folks. So just circumstances of the times dealing with.
So Steve's team is working on a timeline that we'll share with you in the near future here, and which really would map out as we move forward here. So take us through the next probably 6 months with this timeline. Okay, thanks, Steve. Oh, question?
I'm sorry, Steve.
Yes, sir.
Number 6, is that the one along 96 there?
So this is
Side or which?
6. No, we're looking at 11, 7. 7 is over on by East Victor Road, and then 5 is over in Gypsum Mills, Volcan Drive, I think is the name of the street.
Got it. Okay, I'm sorry. That 7, I think, is the one I'm speaking of. But is it correct to kind of estimate that with the delay in getting this done, it would more than likely hold up some of those projects on East Victor Road?
No, we don't think it will. We've checked with the pump manufacturer. It's a company called Flygt, F-L-Y-G-T. And the lead time for those pumps is not awful. It was a concern that I had. But we've checked into that. We think we can get that pump station constructed as early as by the end of this year. And the projects that are coming online, the housing project in particular, we think is going to be well beyond that, probably another year beyond that. So we think we're in pretty good shape to meet the demand.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Any other questions for Steve?
Yeah, just real quick, with the year time frame to order the backup generators, do we need to order them now?
Yeah, so
As opposed to waiting until we go through the next few steps?
our first step is actually we have till, I think, February 26th of this month to either accept the bid for Pump Station 11 or not. And so we're more inclined right now to not accept it and then bundle these up. The sooner the better, we feel, but anticipate that materials, things of that nature, we'd be lucky if we took, we'll bid them out and certainly be at the mercy of a contractor at the tail end of the year. By the time we had bid them out, they're well into their construction season, but maybe this is a project they would take on latter part of the year, first part of 2023,
Okay.
which really helps from a finance bonding situation as well.
And there are two pump stations which we've already ordered generators for, pump stations 10 and 13, I believe. So we are aware of this long lead time. With these other three pump stations, we'll order them under the contract. They may be a year out, but they're the type of thing that when they come in, they can be set in place and plugged in, essentially. And in that time before, these are going to be brand-new pump stations. Of course, we can't control the electric grid, but we would, I believe Farmington has, means to work through a power outage. It just won't be as convenient until you get those generators installed.
Okay.
What this is also doing is, if we move forward with these 11, 7, and 5 pump station and a few backup generators, it'll actually exhaust this current 5-year capital plan we have now, which I think expires in year 2025. So we'll take a look at that, but hoping for a few years of reprieve. So these were priority items that were identified in the DEC consent order as well. So, and the final item, let's see, first meeting in March, Councilman Kohovic, you will be away. Councilman Guinan, you will be away as well. And I am going to be at a conference in Albany. So my thoughts are Councilman Cusimano, and I'll get a hold of Councilman Guinan. What we'll probably do is some type of Zoom meeting that day to pay bills only. And we'll keep that process going, and then subsequently have just probably one in-person meeting in March, and that would be the 28th of March. But I'll give you the final on that after I have a conversation with the clerk and finance department. Okay. Board members, do you have any committees you'd like to report on?
Make a quick note that I had a nice opportunity to meet with the highway superintendent and the gentleman over from the highway department this week. I found it to be hopefully helpful for them, but probably more so helpful for me. And to that point, I've kind of scheduled myself once a month to begin, recurrently and in a, more consistent fashion, being over there for 15 or 20 minutes, 30 minutes, just to meet with them and get the pulse of what's going on over at that facility. And I know that this week, in the chance I had to meet with them briefly, it was kind of enlightening to realize that, as we look at the prospect of a highway facility or highway upgrades over hopefully the next couple of years, that there's certainly a lot of good input and good ideas, and to keep them both in the loop but also solicit feedback, I think, will be an important part of that process.
Well, thank you for going over there. I know I actually missed you on Friday, but Mark he told me you did stop by, took a little tour, which I think is great. And actually, it was a first for myself. I was over there earlier, and I saw one of the salt delivery trucks there, and I had never seen them unload the salt. And I was waiting for the salt to, like our dump trucks would go up, and no, they actually have conveyor systems built right in there. It was pretty amazing. So one of Mark's employees was there, and I got inside the salt barn with them and watched them offload. So it's pretty interesting. I think it was about 40 tons of salt, and so I saw firsthand what we paid for it tonight. So. But we have ample supply of salt now.
Not to waste any.
Yeah.
Don't waste any. No spillage.
Okay, moving to the resolutions. We're starting with the one out of the building department. This is a purchase of a 2022 Ford Escape. This is for the planning and building department. This is through Genesee Valley Ford of Avon.
I moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 2 is accepting the resignation of Adam Blank as motor equipment operator. And Adam, as you can see within the whereas, Adam has qualified the position of heavy-duty equipment mechanic, and he has to start the process by actually resigning this position before he can be appointed to the heavy-duty mechanic.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 3, appointing Adam as the heavy-duty mechanic.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I sent all of you an email on Friday outlining a number of moves that are going to take place here, and as we did with Adam, this is another scenario. We have Kim Reese. She is going to end up working in the clerk's office effective the 28th of this month, but first we have to accept her resignation as the secretary to the Zoning Board of Appeals. And so that's what resolution number 4 is for.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Number 5 is appointing Kim Reese to the deputy town clerk's position, again, effective the 28th of this month.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And the individual going to take Kim Reese's position as secretary to the Zoning Board of Appeals. You have Amber's resume in front of you as well. Amber Downs for the position of secretary to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Well, congratulations, young lady, and welcome aboard. And number 7 is a salary adjustment to Lisa Boughton, and as my email to you mentioned, Lisa will spend some time, as well as Kim Reese will, in making sure that Amber is successful as possible. And so subsequently, I felt it was time for an adjustment for Lisa and Kim both for their efforts in supporting Amber.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Parks and Rec, resolution number 8, request for certificate of liability insurance waiver.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, and you'll see on here, we list all the vendors, type of activities, amount of contracts, duration, things of that nature. That said, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, number 8 is passed. Resolution number 9.
Can we block 9 through 19, since they're all Parks and Recs and just agreements with?
Okay, any objection to blocking resolutions 9 through 19?
No objection.
Oh.
Okay, so we have a first, we have a second, and the blocking action, these, as Councilman Kohovic mentioned, these are contracts with music groups, skateboard groups, a number of Parks and Rec activities. So that said, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. I'll second.
Yep. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. 9 through 19. Moving to number 20, accept a letter of credit for Southgate Hills number 2. And this is so they can start their grading infrastructure work.
So moved.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Back to public comments. Is there any other members of the public care to address the town board? Okay, hearing none. Motion to, Susie, I'm sorry. Motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.